I do give a little history lesson, because I love history, to the kids about the Migratory Bird Treaty Act that was passed in 1918, this wonderful law that's been around for over 100 years. In those early years, it did not protect raptors. Raptors were the bad bird. And up until the early 70s, in over half of the states in our country, so the 1970s really weren't that long ago, you were paid by your local game warden $5 for any dead owl that you brought to their office. So this whole idea of understanding raptors and their role is almost, a new thing. And even when the protection went into place and DDT was outlawed for use in our country, we were still the number one manufacturer of DDT, and we just shipped it south of the border. And again, that whole idea that our birds are migratory. And number one, we're sending DDT down to the countries that are making food that they ship back to us. That's a problem right there. But that our birds are traveling, and, so that the battle was and probably is far from over. And then the whole rodenticide situation on top of that, Warfarin, of course, was the anticoagulant that was the first generation. But humans don't like to have to pick up their messes. They'd rather just kind of sweep it under the rug and not deal with it. And certainly to create a poison where they wouldn't have to deal with the mouse or the rat problem anymore, see no evil, hear no evil kind of thing. These great new second generation poisons that were created where the mouse would eat it, they didn't have to come back multiple times, they would go off and die somewhere else, seemed like, to many, the perfect scenario. They didn't have to get their hands messy, deal with a dead body, deal with a dead mouse or a rat, and those second generation anticoagulants, were welcomed and embraced. But what people didn't realize was their impact on wildlife, and not just raptors, but lots of different wildlife. And that is still a huge problem out there today. Even though in 2015, some of the worst were taken off the shelves for regular consumer use, they're still fully used in agriculture and commercial use, and by commercial companies. So I don't think we've really done much to eliminate them from the environment. All it takes is a commercial license to use these second-generation rodenticides. And again, it's black box. Nobody really knows what's in there. Nobody understands its impact. A raptor is an opportunistic hunter. And if they see a mouse, hobbling along, they're going to go for it. It's much easier to catch a sickly mouse than a healthy one that's racing all over the place. And because birds fly and can leave an area and it's not an instantaneous death, that's one of the problems in tracking how these poisons are getting out into the food chain, just like it took Rachel Carson in her Silent Spring book, and a lot of hard work, a decade of hard work after that was published before people finally agreed that DDT, was bioaccumulating in the environment, in these organisms. There's plenty of research being done to show these rodenticides can bioaccumulate in tissues and have long-lasting impacts. But it's tricky because with birds, they'll consume a mouse or a rat that's been poisoned, and it might not kill them, but it could sicken them. And birds with their incredibly high metabolic rate, they can't go very long without eating or drinking. These rodenticides make them extremely thirsty, which could potentially put them in danger from other predators, which again keeps things going up the food chain. And if they're not feeling well enough to hunt, they're not going to last very long in the environment. But they've flown away from wherever it was that they caught that mouse or that rat, so to be able to pinpoint what caused their death is extremely hard. It's a big problem.